Mic check, mic check. What's up, everyone? Whoever's checking this out, this is Brian Life, going live for my second episode of chatting about AI imaging. The reason why I'm not calling it art is because, yeah, it is basically images that are compiled by prompts, right? So, is it an art form? I don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to call it AI art throughout this stream because that's what people are starting to say it is. But now, it's also called imaging. There's a lot of drama going on. There's a lot of things to be concerned about. There's a lot of urgency. I feel stressed out about this whole situation. At first, I was fascinated. I still am. I still do think that it's pretty amazing technology. Some of the things are very unique, very authentic, and different and wild. But then there's a lot of art out there that's very hauntingly, like bizarrely looks copied, looks very regurgitated, like similar styles to other artists. And now that I'm trying to do more study about this and learn about it, um, I do realize that there are data sets that have like preset, like libraries that have been fed, that it scours and scrapes the internet, and it's this is a copywritten work that it's stealing from pretty much, and then it's emulating it. It's compiling so many different images and artist styles and artists' unique, creations. It's taking influence from them, and then it's spitting out new images that are different but very similar. And there's all these AI protests that are happening right now on a lot of artist websites like ArtStation and on Instagram, all the social medias. And I'm wondering what I should do, because I haven't taken a stance. I don't know what to do because I am still fascinated by this technology. I do look at how there's a lot of fear. I don't think it's 100% going to take away every art job. I don't think it's the end of artist's life, the market of a human being an artist. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being gullible. Maybe I'm just dumbfounded by some of the amazing images that I see. Some of it's terrible and crap. Some of it's like scary and weird, evil looking. It's definitely bizarre. But I've promoted some of this on my Facebook. I've shown and shared some of the Mid Journey or various like uh, software or prompts, the generators, some of these like groups online. I've shared like, oh wow, look at this, like, but I can't say that I've shared. I definitely have not shared like artists like 2D painter looking stuff. Anything that had that kind of human style, like done by hand. I've never shared that. I just never found that. I don't know. I just would rather. I know that it's a copy or a similar. It's a fake of oil painting, or it's faking that it's painted by with watercolor. It just to me looks like filters, and actually, it's just what I need to be concerned about because that part is what people are so upset about. The actual way it does look like a real human did it, but it's because it's copying and referencing what real humans have done. The things that I've shared were more like design, like industrial design, fashion design, product design, where there'd be a model and maybe they have some fashion clothing. There was a streetwear one. There was like futuristic cyber streetwear, or movie images that look like a movie, like Star Wars, but it's like samurai Star Wars. And I just thought these were so fascinating. I still do. I'm not going to go back on my word. I definitely still think it's incredible how it can make something look so realistic, so hyper real. Futuristic helmets. There's these designs that I think are just so inspiring, so good. But then I'm like, well, how much are they copying? How much is it original? I don't know, and it's hard to ever decipher. That's why I'm trying to stay open to this. But I know that it's also something it's like it's not just referencing. It's bigger than that. It's scary how much and how fast and how the other aspects of if like companies like Midjourney are profiting, right? Because there's like a subscription based, so they're profiting off of artists like myself. I'm not saying my art's being scanned or in the data sets, but there are some famous artists. There's some amazing styles and techniques that are just being ripped off and fed into these data sets and referenced and used, and the artists are not getting credited, they're not getting compensated. So if it was my art, I've had my art uh, sold online, put onto t-shirts, put onto bedspreads, and I've had to complain and try to call these people out. So only like twice this happened to me, but I'm sure there's well-established artists out there that have styles that are now being ripped off and fed in to these AIs, and just, or the prompt artists are putting in these particular names and styles, and some of the artists from the past are probably rolling around in their grave because they had a certain look and style, but now it's just being spit out by AI. So this is serious stuff. This is really a hard topic to kind of grapple with, and I'm trying to figure it out. Same with musicians, if their melodies or if their lyrics are being stolen, or their different grooves and different songs are being exactly like copied or referenced, their sound and their particular way of creating and assembling music elements. If that particular style is just being stolen and mimicked, it's copying. It's not right. I don't know how AI or these companies can ever credit all the different artists that it may be resourcing from, because there's just so many fragmented probably images and ways of, like, I don't know how they're going to compensate particular artists for their style being used as a reference, because there's so many. And I don't know how much money they'd make from these one image, or how to track it. It's a beast. It's crazy. It's a wild time we're living in right now. My last stream, I was talking more about how this is just not going to stop. It's like so intelligent. It's so incredible. Like, it's just like automated cars. Eventually it's going to happen. It's a There's some downsides to it, and then there's also some good sides. Um, it's such an incredible advanced technology that they're gonna try to make it so it works. So hopefully they'll do that with AI. They'll try that they'll actually respect artists and all the decades and life, the livelihoods of artists that are out there that have worked so hard to get their style and to get their clients, to build clientele. Like, I've already have one example of a friend who has a record cover, a music cover. He's a rapper, and he wanted me to do an album cover for him, and then he was going to hire somebody else, probably for a little bit cheaper. And then all of a sudden AIs came about, and he's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll get an AI and I'll do it myself, because all I really need is this, blah, blah, blah. And, that's going to happen so many times. Um, and that's just like our bread and butter, my bread and butter. That's how I live, creating art. So it's like, it's threatening. It's definitely interesting. Not just interesting, it's going to happen to where it's narrowing down the market. There's so much competition. It's also going to flood the market with a lot of crap, with a lot of just junky art, or just wrong stuff. I don't know how else to describe it. And what's sad is that I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think there's any way to really, because I think it's like open source. Some of these softwares that are out there have already been released, at least the earlier versions of like Midjourney and maybe Stable Diffusion. I'm not knowledgeable enough, but I think that it's already in the hands of so many people that it's really hard to, or whatever the data sets they were based on for the first iterations, for the first versions, they can't like stop that now. It's kind of, maybe they can. I don't know. I don't know much about it. It's a little baffling, and there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uproar. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of offense. I should be also more angry, I believe, but I was also just fascinated. I think I was maybe gullible. I'm still confused on what to think. Um, I thought like, oh, this is just a tool, like it's just a way to come up with ideas, resources. It's almost like a Google on crack. You can put in your own image and you can ask to see iterations of your own art, like a certain pose of a character. I can like have it show me 5 different poses of that same character. change colors, put on different accessories, give me some rough ideas, and then I can put my style on top of it. I can recreate it or repaint it, re-render it in my own way to fix it up, to but use it as a base, and artists do that now. We do that now. I'm not denying that. We photo bash, we use Frankenstein techniques where you take this image, this pose, this face from all kinds of photography resources, and then we manipulate things and we cleverly put them. I should speak for my own self. I cleverly assemble it and put it together, and then I can recreate it on in my own full style and unify it all to where it is a new piece. It's a new like way. But is that just remixing other resources out there? That's my whole debate. Like, I think a lot of us artists aren't really honest with the way we create. Sometimes we are inspired. We are, I guess I don't want to say we steal, because I don't straight steal from anybody or completely copy styles. I would never do that when I see a style that works and then I go, oh, I'm going to do that exact style and put my name on it. I don't do that. But I do reference other artists. I do look at resources from the past, from the present. I have inspiration boards. I'm always absorbing things that I think work, things that are cool, things that look great. It's a natural way we are. We emulate things that we are attracted to. Even when I dance, I see other dancers. I don't copy exact steps, but I'm definitely like pulling from seeing an accumulation of many styles and ways of expressing different attitudes, different speeds, different cadences, and I accumulate them into my own way and somehow try my best to be as unique in my own voice as I can. But I definitely am an accumulation of many artists, my predecessors before me. That's the only way I ever got to find my discernment of what I like and what I don't like, based on a lot of these people that have done it before me. You know, I don't exactly mimic or copy, but I definitely have. You can see nuances in my style and my expression that have sort of a whole body of taste, or I just can't describe it. But I thought that's what AI was doing as well. It was kind of like resourcing by the prompts and by the different styles, and then it could kind of like give you something within that genre. But you know the fact that it's doing it, it's grabbing from these resources without the consent of others, needs to be looked at, needs to be credited, needs to be respectfully. The light is being shined on of, are you being really original or not? What is okay and what is not okay? And I have to question that about my own practices as well. You know, there was a time when I would use photographs as reference. These are other artists, photographers that saw something with their eye, they captured it, they recorded it, they put it online, and I would utilize like a pose or clothing, even clothing, a fashion model setup, and I would reference that, the wrinkles, maybe the pose. Is that stealing? I mean, I would feel that I would take it far enough from the source and it would just be a bit of an inspiration, but you know, I mean, then I would also take my own poses, because I would take have access to cameras with the iPhones and with the different phones and digital cameras, and I'd pose myself and I'd put on hold accessories and put on clothing and model myself or ask a friend, so I could get more and more original. And there's other topics I could talk about, like say texturing. Will I use a repeat texture of brick or of like wood? Or will I sit there and paint every little grain of wood and try to fake the wood and try to recreate this realism of wood? Or can I use a photo? It's like I discern which one I want to do. And there's little bits I get from resources that are generally out there or that I pay for or that I can find on the internet and manipulate. For instance, a font. If I do a logo, I can create pretty much any letter style by hand off the top of my head from my ability to draw and my ability to look at something and emulate it. But I can also get a certain font that I like the aesthetic look of it. Say if it's beefy and chunky and it's a thick, techy font, I could use that as a source and outline it and then start to manipulate it and customize that font to look like whatever I'm trying to go for, whatever logo I'm trying to do. And use it as a base, and I go far away from it enough to where I'm not copying it, but I'm using it as like this reference, I guess you could say. Is that wrong? I definitely think there's something manipulative about it. I'm being very honest, but everyone does it, and I'm gonna call everyone out. What are we gonna lie? Like the truth? Maybe that's what's happening. The light is on us now as well, right? Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who does that. But I definitely use fonts for reference and for help with my logos. Um, you know, I've used photos, photography. I don't straight use it, like straight grab it and just blatantly copy at all. But I use multiple photos. I Frankenstein, meaning I'll cut up bodies. Maybe I'll like the if I'm doing a woman, certain breasts, certain waist, body, pose, arm. If an arm's coming out at you in perspective, or if it's over here, I may have to find a grip, like a hand that's gripping like a sword or some sort of weapon. And I'm male, but I need a female hand, so I'll go search online and get like a bunch of references, and that's just how a lot of artists do it. So I kind of thought AI was doing that too, but no, it's definitely bigger than that because you could see how incredibly advanced it is. It's making almost exact styles. So if I type in a famous artist right now and I tell this AI to do it, it's going to give me pretty much the same look. That's scary. So anyway, this is a ramble. I'm not sure if I'm going to join the protest, uh, these images that everyone's posting of like AI inside of a cancel circle, like no to AI. I should. I think I should, out of respect for all the traditional illustrators, all the digital 2D illustrators that are out there. I'm more of a 3D artist nowadays, so I'm not more reliant on my 2D style as much as other artists are. Some artists are very reliant on their painting style. Excuse me, painting style. I'm not as much, but I have many decades of doing that, of doing illustration and 2D painting looks and styles, and I have a whole body of work that has all 2D painted looks, digital art and physical art. But I'm an artist that's worked my ass off from the ground up, all the raw drawing ability, perspective, understanding of comic styles, cartoon styles, to understanding of realism, all the hard-earned decades of work. And for a computer, for an AI to just, for some person who's not an artist, or for any human to just type in some words and then get that look and then go make money off of it, that's not okay. Um, that can't be okay. So to be continued. Thanks for checking me out. Sorry I'm indecisive. It's just a weird time. I can explain it again that like even digital artists weren't considered real artists. CG art wasn't considered real art because in the fine art world, oil painting was God, and like sculpture and all traditional mediums are the only way to be a real artist. I don't believe that was true. I knew it wasn't true. I knew there was some graffiti. I'm a graffiti artist. I write life. That was never considered art. Now it's in all the art books. It's worth millions of dollars. There's millionaires out there. There's, artists that are well established and well respected in the art industry being auctioned off right now as I speak, and they're from the graffiti street art world. But 10 years ago, it wasn't considered art. You know, 10 to 20 years ago, it was considered vandalism. Um, Same with, like I said, digital art was not really respected as a real art form, and I knew it was. I knew it was. See, I knew it was a human pushing the pen, pushing the tablet, utilizing the tools within the digital realm, the simulated paint, the color mixing, the airbrush. It's not a real airbrush, but it was a digital airbrush to be able to push around those pixels and to make those um, compositions and art elements. It is real art. It's real energy, real soul, real vision. and it's, an artist is doing it. So now that an AI is doing it, it's, the only way it's able to do it is by artists that have already done it. It wouldn't be able to do it unless it could reference all the styles and simulate or copy the styles. So I got to think real hard about this. Sorry, I'm really tired right now, but I'm stressed out, and I felt like I should not just go take a nap, and I felt like I should post something and just keep posting, and even if I'm confused or indecisive, just keep being truthful about this, what's going on. But I don't like to judge things unless I really have enough knowledge about it. But I'm definitely starting to feel like this is going to be a big problem. It already is, and maybe I've been fooled. So take care. I'll talk soon.